Hello, fellow Vault Dwellers, good weekend to all of you. Welcome. It's time for our weekly Turtlecast. How is everyone doing? I hope very well. Welcome in the chat. Exit, PDM, Rascal, The Shroud, Kate Alex, Dawn's Doom, Reese, Maximilian Smith, Atom Bomb Baby, Visric, Voland, Andreas Sonnerud, Cookie Crisp, Jesus for you, Boboy J Styles, Obigon Windu, and Mookie Wilson and Craig Stodlich. Welcome. So nice to see you all in here this weekend. Yeah, it's time for a Turtlecast. I was hoping by this time we'll have official reward list for the next season, but it's not yet on the official follow.com. Maybe it will appear later or maybe next week. But we do have date for the next update. So this is official. Next update, my speculation happened to be right. So yeah, I was speculating for quite a while that it will be most likely March the 3rd. And it's official. Yeah, it is. Tuesday. First Tuesday of March. The next update is coming. The Bigfoot is coming. We do have some article. We'll check it out shortly about cryptids. Quite interesting, like a series of promo about cryptids in Fallout universe that they released. And Bigfoot is included indeed. I did cover a lot of stuff about the incoming update already in series of videos. I will do a summary video with all the changes and how to get ready for the next patch. So most likely early next week, this video I will be working on and I will release it. So we'll all be able to prepare and get ready for the update. The latest public test server patch, I wasn't making a video as there was only one change. So if you did watch my live streams from the test server, you notice that I was talking about Elder's Mark doing surprisingly high damage. Something was happening there. So they addressed that. That was only one patch notes. They addressed an intentionally high damage from automatic receivers. So that applies to all rifles, including only automatic rifles as well. So Elder's Mark, Tommy Gun that are automatic by default, they still use the formula of the automatic semi-automatic receivers, even though there is no semi-automatic receiver for Elder's Mark. But they still use this formula. Therefore, yeah, they figure out what was happening unintentionally. Like all the semi-automatics and automatics were using damage values for semi-automatics and single shot. That's why the damage was so high. So Elder's Mark is firing 120 bullets per 10 seconds and was using values as if it would be firing like 10 bullets per 10 seconds. Yeah, Lucid will be good with the next patch and is already good. So if you just unlock Lucid, congratulations. Spreelock, you will enjoy this one. It's a good prefix. And basically all the prefixes, everything stands as in my video about legendary effects and next patch, with exception of bolstering. Bolstering was fixed and bolstering is officially, again, a really good prefix for bloodied builds. So yeah, bolstering is back on the list. It was unnerfed, even buffed. So it's really good now. Okay, before I will talking more, we'll do first this quick article on follow.com about cryptids. Let me open that. This one. Got to know the cryptids of Fallout 76. Appalachia has a lot going on for it. Rolling hills, lush forests, a bunch of deadly monsters. With Fallout 76 backwoods update on the horizon, we are donning our cryptid hunting caps and shining flashlight into the woods. Not recommended for actual citizens of Appalachia. To reacquaint you with some of the region's most famous faces, plus a newcomer who must need some pretty big shoes. The Fallout 76 Backwoods Update launches on March the 3rd. And I like the team. I hope there are some good items. I'm waiting for official release of all the reloads. It's not happened yet. I know there are data mines, but I want official release what's in the season. Muffman. First appeared, the Muffman has been a fan favorite and cult favorite, cryptid since Fallout 76 launch in 2017, and honestly, we totally get it. He's mysterious, he's unsettling, he has a dedicated following that you may or may not be a member of. Heads up, he doesn't look all that much like his statue at the Muffman Museum in Point Pleasant. So, if you are wandering Appalachia late at night hoping to meet up with tall, dark, and ripped, you might want to reconsider. Tips for tackling. Gear up with energy weapons for this fight. Keep your head on a swivel. And remember, if you hear ominous noises and feel like you are being watched, you probably are. And honestly, as they say about these energy weapons, I wish it would be more impactful what kind of weapon we use, but generally it's not. It's just the best to use weapon with highest damage. So I will mute that, but music is most likely copyrighted, but I can play it. So that's kind of a nice series of quick videos. This one is about Muffman, dedicated fan club, cultists. Oh yeah, some tips and tricks. Not always accurate, but it's cool. Yeah, that's a quick series. Like all those videos about cryptids are like 30 seconds. Grafton Monster. First appeared, the Grafton Monster has also been lurking around since launch and can be found all around. Well, Grafton. If you've ever thought, wow, that headless monstrosity looks like it could level a small building, you would be right. Tips for tackling. Aim for the blowholes and stay out of its way when it tries to charge. This is not the time to stand your ground and see what happens. We already know what happens. It's bad. So this tip is actually meaningful. The weak spot, aiming for the weak spot, which in this case is blowholes on the monster, works. And that's very impactful, unlike the weapon choice. So that's the monster. Grafton Monster, cryptid of the day. It's nice. Nice, big, scary, headless. And drops quite a bit of caps. Not as impactful as it was in the past when caps were harder to come by, but yeah, it does drop caps. Not particularly dangerous though. They over-exaggerated about the danger. Sheepsquatch. First appeared, added as part of the Wild Appalachia update, the Sheepsquatch is not likely to inspire many ohs and ahs unless you are making those noises out of pain or horror. If you are looking to cross paths with this nightmare, take a look around Welch Station. Just don't expect a warm, fuzzy welcome. Why do they send you to Welch Station? It's not really the best spot. The best spot is in the new area of the map, down the bottom behind the river. You know where. If you don't, then yeah, you can find it. Skyline Valley. Tips for tackling. You've seen those hilarious videos of kids at petting zoos getting knocked over by a tiny baby goats, right? Now picture that, but with roughly 1,000 times more force and significantly more rage. Don't let it ram you. Sheepsquatch. And this one is particularly more dangerous than previous ones. Can actually do some damage and is very tanky. So Sheepsquatch is different. Not crazy hard to fight, but quite tanky, so you need to unload some ammo with some headshots to take it down. And almost always legendary. And they do actually fight it in this clip, in the spot I was talking about, and not in the spot they described. And Bigfoot. So that's a new one incoming. First appeared. Welcome Bigfoot to the cryptozoological family, making his Fallout 76 debut in the upcoming Backwoods update. This legendary lurker of forests and blurry photographs is finally stepping out of the shadows. But not necessarily into focus. Seriously, try to get a picture We bet you can't. Tips for tackling. Wouldn't you like to know? It's tough. Like, this guy gonna be tough. We tested it on the test server, and yes, this guy gonna be tough. It's not a soft one like other ones. So Bigfoot. Clearly inspired by Super Mutant Behemoth, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It is a reskin of Super Mutant Behemoth, but stronger version. And they will not tell you what's the weakness. His only weakness is thousands and thousands of bullets, I'm guessing. Maybe there is something else to it. But just a lot of bullets. It's not going down easily. A real bullet sponge, and I welcome that. At least one special boss need to be a bullet sponge that appears and no one gonna one-shot it like other bosses. I will not be complaining about it being a bullet sponge. It's supposed to be, probably. What's new for bolstering? You will get almost full effect of bolstering at around 23% health. So bolstering is very useful. So at 23% health, you will have 9.5% damage reduction per piece. So it's very effective now. Bolstering gonna be great and can be used for power armor. Unlike heavyweight, which is awesome to use on regular armor, heavyweight cannot be used on power armor. Bolstering can, and you can stack it with emergency protocols, which makes it a top pick for power armor blooded builds. What's up with Elder's Mark? They fixed the bug causing on the public test server, causing Elder's Mark to do surprisingly high damage, much higher than expected. So they fixed a bug. It's not related to the live game. At some point on the public test server, out of nowhere, Elder Mark started doing insanely high damage, and they figured out what went wrong, and they fixed that, so it's doing normal damage again, similar to what it does on live game. Almost the same. Like there is slight damage calculation change on the public test server, how they calculate armor and stuff and damage done, but it's not really very impactful that you would notice like a drastic difference in your gameplay. Now, before I forget, let's head to the Discord to answer your questions from Ask the Turtle section on Turtle Army Discord, starting Discord. There are most likely some questions there. And yes, if you have any more questions in the chat, I will try to answer them too. If I can find them and don't accidentally skip them. Okay. So here we go. First, hi Turtle. I've heard Blocka perk isn't good next patch. Correct. I also love your charge Warglaive build and have been running it. Just wondering, what do you think will replace Blocka now? Also, with the new Under Armor rework, is shielding and Brotherhood style the go-to for melee? Most likely yes. And what replaced Blocka? Nothing really. You have 3 points to use something else. Blocka is not efficient. Even on the melee build, I mean, you could spec for blocking, but there is... Now, it requires so many perks and legendary effects to properly spec for blocking that it doesn't make sense. It's only a small handful of enemies is really hitting you with melee, so fully specking for that particular case scenario just take away all the space you have for other stuff. So I would say no Blocka, just no replacement, that's just a dead perk now. Blocka is out of the menu. You just don't need to use it because it's almost worthless. Not completely, like as I said, you could spec for it, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, next. Regarding your Elder Mark anti-armor, faster fire-rate bullies with the video you showcase of the limb damaging commando, I was just wondering if it's worth more damage to go full stealth plus Stokka with the perks that benefit from stealth damage I play for all-purpose dailies and bosses. Yes, Stokka is really good. I tested that and I was using Stokka Elder's Mark particularly to kill The Guardian with Tomahawks and Elder's Mark, so Elder's Hawk method. Yes, it's very good. As unlike anti-armor, Stalkers does amplify your limb damage, so it's a good combo, and you can absolutely use it. Anti-armor is only superior for the Ohio area and those bosses like Grand Hand, Head Hands, and those power armor guys. It's superior there, but I was mentioning that already in the video about anti-armor. Superior only for Ohio area, as other enemies outside of map expansion do not have particularly high armor to justify anti-armor. So that's only superior in there. If you want overall option that's very powerful everywhere, yes, go for Stalker. Are you Polish? Yeah, I'm originally from Poland. That's correct. Hi Turtle. I was wondering if you are going to do an update on the all-round build that you did in 2024. I could, although I don't really recommend going all round. I know for some reason they popular, but you will be way more powerful specking for universal weapon instead. Like fully spec into weapon that can be used in every case scenario. For example, the reworked plasma caster, rather than going for all around build to use every single weapon without switching loadouts. I could do update for that. How do I do it without insinuating that it's a superior method? And it's not. It's just not. Maybe I will do it. I will see. I know those are very popular, and probably a lot of people would watch that. It's just not working so well as other way around. One weapon and universal build. Hello everyone. I've looked at your new videos about next patch armor, but I saw that one armor was missing, the wood armor. I know it's not powerful, but I was curious what will be the changes for this armor. I didn't even check wood armor. The reason for that is I don't have a set, and you cannot craft this particular armor. I would need to be server hopping to collect a set. I have no idea, honestly, how useful it will be. I'm expecting not very much, unless they fix the Shrouded mod, as currently Shrouded mod for wood armor only makes it lighter. It doesn't really provide any stealth bonuses and so on. I don't know what will be the use case for wood armor, if any. Next, good afternoon. Given the changes to armor in March, did I miss your recommendation for a low health melee build currently using unyielding Thorn armor with some Cavalier's effects? So that will be still brilliant. Like, maybe I didn't mention that, but unyielding remains to be a top pick for bloodied builds with regular armor. That's unchanged, remains the top pick, and Thorn for melee is awesome. Cavaliers remains great. So I was only discussing effects that are changing, not the ones that are currently strong and stay strong. Like, they didn't change every single legendary effect. Some of them stay exactly as they are, and I just didn't talk about them as they are not changing. But now, considering changing to Civil Engineer, given the more balanced environmental protection, will I miss the Thorn set effect? So the question is, do you rely on Thorn effect to apply Bloody Mess? Or is your melee weapon, by choice, already with Bleed effect? If you already have Bleed effect on weapon, you are good to go. If you don't, you will miss on the cool Bloody Mess effect for melee builds without Thorn. So that's the main question. If you have, let's say, Warglaive, which comes with Bleed, you don't need Thorn. If you are running like a Super Sledge or something similar, you kind of need Thorn if you want to benefit with those explosions. And yeah, you will definitely kill faster than Bleed takes effect. That's why I'm talking about Bloody Mess, explosion that can take out a wave of enemies with one swing. That will be off if you don't have bleed effects. What are your thoughts on the radiation changes in public test server? My opinion, pointless. that I already expressed that in the past. Just pointless. It's logarithmic reduction, right? So you would need tens of thousands of points to reduce it to negligible amounts. So as well, they did reduce environmental radiation greatly, making it like entire exercise, in my opinion, pointless. Do you think this will push people to playing ghouls as they won't have to worry about rat resistance, or the opposite? Because ghouls trying to gain rats are now going to have a harder time with lower environmental rats. Mostly, I would say ghouls already rely on toxic goo or glowing effect on weapons, so they will not be affected. The humans will play about the same. It's a little bit different. Like, let's say you have water rats legendary effect, you will be basically fully immune to radiation without the need to use any hazmat or anything like that. You'll be able to run the nuke zone in regular armor with water rats max out. So it's kind of a buff for this case scenario. Generally, in my opinion, kind of pointless exercise. It basically makes all the hazmat suits and so on redundant. Like, there is absolutely no reason to ever use that over regular armor. Is this going to be a hard nerf to low health builds? No, it will not be. Is there any point to using hazmat suit? No, there is none. Will we see more of dependence on perks like what rats? If you want to be fully immune, but no more dependence, no. It's the people that are already using them will have benefits, like benefit more, but not like you need to use them if you don't. Let's say you are unyielding, blooded build, you will be about the same. The changes will even out to not making any difference. And lastly, the values were kind of weird, like not using rounded numbers. Do you think Bethesda devs are using AI to generate balance changes? Maybe. I don't think they fully manually switch those numbers. Those numbers are all over the place. I was talking about that already when they apply a full damage rework for weapons. Now they did full value rework for armor. I don't see them like doing that manually. They probably use some kind of a generator and just put in which armor should be the strongest. Next, was latest video after they announced the PTS automatic receivers not properly lowering damage output. Wasn't sure if this would change anything. I was testing heavy guns. When they talk about automatic receivers, that applies to automatic rifles like the Fixa, Elder's Mark, and so on. It's not applying to heavy guns. Heavy guns are not considered automatic receivers. They're just heavy guns. Like, I don't know why it's even the distinction, but it is. Automatic receivers that you can put on rifles, pistols, and shotguns. That's what they mean by automatic receivers. Not heavy guns that are doing the same thing, but are heavy guns, therefore don't have that. I don't know why, but that's how it is. There is no explanation sometimes. And last, hi Turtle. When fighting the Guardian and you are stood in front of the railing by the console, is that class as near or far when it comes to perks? It's near, that's why I'm standing there. If you are in front of the console, you are just about 50 units away. So perfect for the near to kick in, like damage to close enemies from onslaught effects and so on. That's just far enough, so you are relatively safe and you don't need to enter the electrified floor area, and close enough to benefit from near enemy bonuses. Around the console is the cutoff. So console line is like the cutoff, so you need to be in front of the console. If you would be on top of the console, then you will be neither near or far. And if you are behind the console from other side, like, how do I say? Like in front of the console, oh, that's how I should say it, then you consider it to be far. I know there is a really small gap between near and far. And lastly, Turtle, with the new changes to armor, what's the best armor for a ghoul with legendary mods on it with regular armor and ghoul power armor? Thanks. So there is no difference between human and ghouls. The environmental hazards, like environmental radiation, is too low to make an impact. So aiming for 0 rat resist, absolutely pointless. The best thing there for the ghouls is just either Brotherhood armor or Civil Engineer. What you really want to have, I know some people disagree with me on that, but what you really want to have is strengthened on limbs. Therefore, you can keep popping glowing goo to top up your glow, and you don't need to ever use Stimpaks. Without strengthened option for your limbs, if you just have adamantium skeleton, eventually ghoul limbs will break, and you will be crippled, and you need to use Stimpack even though your health is like at 150% because you are using goo to top up the glow. The glow is not healing limbs, so you need to have something else. If you are running, like, people will quite often not notice it, as now it's quite popular and effective to run healing factor with the perk that causes it to heal continuously even in combat. The healing factor healing effect does heal limbs. So that's most likely why people say it's not needed, but the healing factor working in combat most likely not intended, as that originally was not possible. That accidentally was introduced, and I have video about it, the passive healing, but it's most likely not intended, and at some point will be changed. So when it will be changed and you will not be able to use healing factor for healing of your limbs, then the problem appears, as other effects do not heal limbs, only Stimpaks. Okay, back to the chat. And thank you very much, Festelkroka. Festelkroka? I think that's the name. And thank you very much for €5. Appreciate that. And haha emoji. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And we do have new member of Turtles Army, Andrew Hefner. Thank you a lot for joining Turtles Army. And thank you to Mainzer for extending the membership with Prime in Turtles Army. Appreciate that. And may the shell be with you guys. And I'm now trying to catch up with the chat. Yes, the Plasma Caster will be a top tier, but it already is. So it's not like it's gonna change too much. For Daily Driver, Plasma Caster is already a top tier and will remain top tier with additional options, making it even more versatile. And about the limb damage that you can do to enemies, and enemies can do to you, energy or ballistic damage or elemental damage will not matter anymore from March update, as the issue with energy damage not affecting limbs as it's supposed to is fixed. So all type of damages should do the same amount of limb damage. That should be fixed, at least it is fixed on the test server. How do you unlock legendaries on Tinker's Workbench? You need to scrap legendaries and you have small chance to unlock them. Yes, currently we do not have any information about next raid. So we don't know when it's arriving or anything about the next raid. It was hinted that there will be next raid soon after the first raid was released, but since then, no information, nothing. And it's definitely not dropping with March. It's not on the public test server. They kind of stopped messing up with the perk cards. They did nerf the blocker and they changing fireproof to hardy. So they are still doing some small adjustments to perk cards. Just not massive ones like before. Does scoped perk work in VATS? No, because you cannot aim in VATS. VATS is always considered hip fire. So scope perks do not really do anything. The perks that require you to aim. If the perk or like a bubblehead, no, not bubblehead, the magazine. If you pop a magazine that boosts damage of scoped weapons, it only requires your weapon to have scope attached. So that's different. This will work. But if it says while aiming, then no, it doesn't work, as VATS is considered hip firing. Juggernaut's builds with overeaters will be really good, especially if you are interested in running blood sacrifice and using health instead of action points. That's really good for consoles. That's a huge buff for this build style. on consoles, so you don't need to worry about coffee or any AP regeneration. You just run Overeaters, Endurance, or Luck, depending if you need more luck. Then on star number 3, actually better than Healthy is Doctors. Boosting your Stimpaks is multiplicative with First Aid, so it's slightly better. You could run Healthy, but Doctors generally for Blood Sacrifice is slightly better. And you can run this combo and have absolutely brilliant results with most weapons. Of course, with exception of very AP hungry weapons, which will just consume all your health regardless how much you have. Yeah, we all needed to completely relearn all the perk cards. There were so many changes. What 4-star mod is good for reverse onslaught laser rifle? Pinpointers is generally good for every weapon that you can use to hit the weak spot. But now, with the changes and with it working with limb damage, the bullies will be really good option. But I would wait before you install it, like until the patch actually drops, to see if this fix will successfully make it to the live game version. It's supposed to be fixed. It is fixed on the test server. But will it actually make it to the live game version? I know they like to sometimes mess up, so let's wait. Because it happened in the past. Stuff that was already fixed on the test server, then they did the live patch, and somehow the stuff that was already fixed was not fixed. Like, I don't know if they are like working on two different versions of the game in the same time or something like that, but it's not always align. It doesn't always align. And about the raid, the existing raid, I do plan to do updated guide as raid is changing too. Raid is changing too. Mainly, like, the stalkers will not be able to one-shot you. The guardian will be a little bit like weaker, which is good and bad. Like, good if you want to tank it, but if you want to reflect its damage to the shield, then what's else changing? Sight of stalker. Yeah, I think that's mostly that here. Mostly the stalker and the guardian. And I did learn a lot of tricks as well as I play raids a lot. For example, like one of the trick I never included in my previous guides for the raid, for stage 2, whoever is defending the drill, if this person have conductors as a 4-star on the weapon, conductors works in area. Therefore, everyone running with canisters, as soon as they enter the main room with the drill, will get a free AP top up, so they can sprint more and they don't need to worry about stopping to regenerate action points or popping any coffee or anything like that. Then can continuously sprint for those canisters, making the whole process slightly faster if you use conductors for defense. I know it's small, like fine tuning of the details, but it sometimes can help. Double checking now if there are any news on Discord from Bethesda. They posted anything. It's the patch for the test server they did yesterday. No, the last info. Okay, there is one info from today. Small one, but I will show you. So the last info is about Ask Me Anything for the Backwoods update on February 27th. What day is that? Let me see the calendar. It's next week. Yeah, so it's Friday next week. So most likely they will release around this time the official reward list, which should be quite late, later than usually. It's 27th, like 5 days before update. Yeah, it's really close to the update. Yeah, it's 5 days before update that they will be hosting Ask Me Anything for the update itself. I wish they would be on those Ask Me Anything, do some more questions than just about incoming update. As we all know everything about incoming update thanks to public test server. So that's not really what I need. What I would like to know is what are the further plans for the summer update, like sneak peeks for the summer update instead of repeating what we already know, or maybe like further away plans, if they could tell us more about long-term plans for updates, what's coming, and some more sneak peeks like that, or address some existing issues in the game and what they are doing, over just regular ask me anything about the update we all know answers to. Those answers and questions always curated, so it's not like every question will make it in. They will take a look if they like the question, and then they answer it. Sometimes there is some cool stuff going on in those Ask Me Anything, but that's like 1 or 2 questions that are actually impactful that they pick up. And the entire thing is usually about an hour long, and you need to focus to catch the moment that they will actually say something impactful and interesting. Maybe those are intended for people that don't really like to check news, and they only tune in like 5 days before update and start from zero knowledge. Like, that's perfect for this kind of a player. Going for this Ask Me Anything, knowing absolutely nothing about armor rework and entire update, and then they can listen what's happening. But maybe that makes sense. I don't know, you tell me. I will check it out nevertheless when it will be happening. Yes, Rascal is saying, ask me anything but nothing we are not comfy to answer. Yeah, that's how it works. Unfortunately or fortunately, that's how it works. But I can understand that. Like, you don't always want to answer any random question. Sometimes the questions are not even related or obviously not something that can be disclosed. Like, people asking about the details for, let's say, a year away updates, or people asking about personal questions to developers. Like, I would assume that's not appropriate and will not be answered. So some of them should be filtered out. Unfortunately, a lot of important question about the game is filtered out too. And that's the unfortunate part. And Jesus for you. Thank you a lot for donating 5 memberships. And those go to The Raven, John Roseman, Grant, Tango Elite, Prinidad, and yeah, that's fine. Welcome and thank you a lot, Jesus for you. And someone has out of topic question. So that's what I'm talking. I will answer it, but that's on Twitch. That's probably why they need to filter some questions. Like, look at this question. All right, off topic. At the gym, should I hit back or legs today? I do have to work, and I already worked all my upper body already. What's your verdict? So you have no choice but to do legs anyway. You will just figure out how you work afterwards. So those are the questions. Those are the questions they need to filter out, I would assume. Although they do sometimes answer those unrelated questions like I did here. So I don't know. And that being said, I think we cover all the important topics. Therefore, now we'll be doing our dailies. We'll be heading for a member hangout. Oh, wait, there is another super chat. Okay. $10. Thank you. Thank you very much, Zohan. And the message is, when we getting character slots? So they did promise that half a year ago. And then they said, oopsie, we didn't actually mean that. There is no more character slots. We'll think about it. So we are not getting more character slots anytime near in the future. I don't exactly know why, but it looks like they do have some engine limitations, and it's not as easy as we would want it to be. You know, creation engine, spaghetti engine. Therefore, you don't know why sometimes they cannot do things, but they cannot do things. So yeah, no. They promised that by accident, and they took it back, saying, oopsie, sorry. We didn't mean to actually promise you that. You are not getting more character slots. Where you can ask them questions, you need to ask questions now on Discord. There is a special section on official Bethesda Discord, and they will select questions to answer. And that being said, now it's everything for the Turtlecast, so thank you a lot for watching, and hopefully see each other tomorrow. Now I need to do my dailies with members. So See you tomorrow, everyone. Oh, wait, another super chat. Barely, mate. I almost closed the live stream. Thank you a lot for $10, though. V-Teching. Oh, that's supposed to be probably Viking. It says V-Teching, but maybe Viking. Misspelled, supposed to be. And the message is, you are doing a great job. Amazing videos. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And now, everyone, have a great weekend and see you all tomorrow. Turtle out. Bye and take care.